Okay, guys, so I got another video for you today, because it's 4:30. Okay, yeah, I got another video for you today, and, it's probably gonna be my last video for a little while, just because I really have nothing else I particularly feel inclined to do. But once again, as stated in one of my previous videos, if you have anything in particular you want to hear about, chemically speaking, certain reactions, etc., etc., pretty much as long as it pertains to clandestine chemistry or drug chemistry of some sort, I can probably dig something up and I'll try to find a way to explain it to you. But no, this video is not about that. That was just me making an announcement before I actually get to the meat and bones of this video. Meat and bones, I don't give a shit. Meat and potatoes of this video. I'm just going to be doing a quick explanation of something called the Leuckart reaction. To be exact, the Leuckart-Wallach reaction. It is a reaction that was invented, if you will, by a German by the name of Rudolf Leuckart and Otto Wallach. And I sound like such a douche saying that. I know. Anyway, the basic explanation of it is a Leuckart reaction is when the ammonium salts of formic acid and an aldehyde, or ketone, as it's called, which is, as stated in my MCAT video, if you look at it, it's the one that has, it looks like an amine, except instead of having an ammonia group or a methyl group or an ethyl group, it just has an oxygen. One oxygen, two little lines under it. That was the ketone. It's also an aldehyde. It basically gives something a scent. That's why formaldehyde smells, because it has a ketone. That's why anything that says aldehyde generally smells that way. It's also, it's why essential oils, which contain some primary feedstock for certain amphetamines, smell the way they smell, because the chemicals that are necessary precursors to narcotics, they're the quote essential chemical. It's why, or precursor, I'm sorry, essential is a conversion chemical that's used, and then that can be replaced with other essential chemicals, so on and so forth. That's to the point, and that's completely off topic. Why to start talking about that? Anyway, it's the thing that makes it smell like benzaldehyde, which is a precursor for amphetamine, methamphetamine, and ethylamphetamine, or basically the amphetamine class, the core of the amphetamine class molecules. There's safrole, that's the precursor for MDMA, MDA, and MDEA, or ecstasy. The precursor for TMA, which is similar to mescaline in action, is, I think, calamus. I don't know if that's the exact name of the aldehyde, the ketone group, but I do remember that it is the name of the plant, and I'm just going off the assumption that that is the chemical. I'm probably completely wrong on that one. I don't know a lot of the names off the top of my head. I haven't recently been into it that much. I just did this. Fuck, I don't even need to explain this. It's completely off topic, whatever. But yeah, it's when you react an ammonium salt of formic acid with an aldehyde, i.e. you react it with benzaldehyde, you react it with formaldehyde, anything with ketone on it that has aldehyde in the name is generally reactable, and it forms an amine, because what happens is it reduces it, the ketone group in it, it reduces it to an amine group instead, and the difference between reduction and oxidation is reduction adds to it. Generally, it adds a hydrogen of some sort, basically not an oxygen. Oxidation obviously adds an oxygen. That's why rust oxidate, the oxidation that creates rust. That's why afterwards it's called FeO2, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong, but it's iron oxide basically. But when you use an excess, oh sorry, I completely skipped a part there. The ammonia, in addition to ammonia, the primary and second, the primary in, I'm turning retarded all of a sudden, I don't know why. In addition to ammonia, the primary and secondary amines are also successful. Yeah, if you want to find this shit out for yourself, though, by the way, you could read along with it on, like, Wikipedia, seriously. I'm pretty much doing this entire thing off Wikipedia, except for a couple random pieces I already had memorized, and that are not on Wikipedia. Formamide, or substituted formamides, can also be used instead of the ammonium formate, which may sound like gibberish to you. It sounds like gibberish to me because it's just thrown in there on the Wikipedia page, and I don't ever remember reading that in relation to this. But yeah, it's really off topic also. But there's a variation. It's not a different reaction. It's just a variation of the reaction called the Leuckart-Wallach reaction, which requires an excess of formic acid to be used. As a general rule, that reaction is generally, it gets a little more sloppy because you can use too much formic acid, and if you don't have the correct amount of catalyst or what have you, it basically goes horribly, horribly wrong and creates a red gooey piece of shit mess. It's basically just tar afterwards that you can't do anything with. You can't salvage it. It's worthless. So if you fuck it up, basically, it's worthless. It's not necessarily the worst reaction you could ever do, but it's not one I do if you're, say, a novice chemist. Just as a thought. But yeah, that was my video on the Leuckart-Wallach reaction. That may have sounded like gibberish, but once again, if you want to find out more about it, go to Wikipedia, look up the Leuckart reaction, Leuckart. You'll probably get one of the chemists, Rudolf Leuckart. Just click on him. Don't click on the zoologist because there's another one with the same name who is his father, who is a zoologist and not a chemist. Click on a chemist. Somewhere in the first paragraph it should say Leuckart reaction. Click on that. Read it. Basically, I'm going to say completely ignore the middle paragraph because it's just thrown in there with no precept, so you'll end up not getting what it means anyway. I personally don't get what the second paragraph has to do anything. If anyone does, I'd love it if you'd explain it to me or something, because I don't get it fucking word why it's even in there, other than the fact that it's talking about amines and amines. Yeah, okay, no, never mind. Now I know what it means. It means, okay, yeah, now I can explain this to you. It's the in addition to ammonia part is where the tertiary amine that you're creating with the reaction, it also creates a secondary and a primary amine, which means all the points on it, if you look at it, if you see the benzene ring and then you go over how say on meth, that first part on the benzene ring where the chain comes off, that's the first amine. Then where it goes over and down in the middle with that little squiggly line, I don't know what that is. I'm not, again, one of the most skilled chemists in the world, as it were. I'm not even that good a chemist, period. That is the second one as far as I know, because I'm seeing this and it's not making much sense. You know, fucking just completely ignore what I said. Pointless. I'm not going to edit it out, though. You just got to listen to me for an extra 2 minutes babbling on. Yeah, but anyway, that was my video on the Leuckart-Wallach reaction. Once again, ignore the second paragraph. It's completely pointless if you want to know about it. It's just in there to be fancy talk. How much time do I got? I got an extra 7:30 minutes. That may not have made sense. Yeah. I'm just going through other ones, see if there's anything else interesting. But I'd also recommend checking out something called the Leuckart-Wallach reaction, which is on the Leuckart reaction page. It's a link to it. Apparently it's a process whereby the secondary or primary amine is methylated using excess formic acid and formaldehyde. So basically, the Leuckart-Wallach reaction is what causes the methylation of the amphetamine in the Leuckart-Wallach reaction to create methamphetamine when using formaldehyde and formic acid, if that makes sense. It might not, oh well. It's basically a side reaction that takes place that creates a methylation group on one of the amines, the HN group for short, that makes it into methamphetamine. If that makes more sense. So, in short, the Leuckart reaction creates a regular amphetamine, but the Leuckart-Wallach reaction uses an excess, therein causing an Leuckart-Wallach reaction. Okay, this is probably going to sound like gibberish too, which creates methamphetamine. Or if you're using, say, the precursor in calamus oil, which I think is calamus, once again, I could be completely wrong, and you're going for trimethoxyamphetamine, you do a simple Leuckart reaction, not a Leuckart-Wallach reaction, just a Leuckart reaction. If you did a Leuckart-Wallach reaction, you get something that would, I think, be called trimethoxymethylamphetamine. I could be wrong on that one, because I've never heard of that chemical being made in the history of fucking society. But, as previously stated, it's entirely possible in theory. I'm not going to try, personally, because I'm not the greatest chemist. Fuck words, dude. Fuck words. That society has ever seen. So, as it was, that's going to be my last video, unless I find something else I want to make a video on. So once again, most of these videos for a while are going to be on clandestine chemistry and the chemistry of narcotics, because that's what I find interesting. I might do a couple semi-political videos, like about the gun nut, as my shorthand is for him now. Check him out. His thingy, YouTube page is I'm for all guns, I am for ALLGUNS. He's basically a crazy survivalist type fellow, from what I can tell. Not as an insult to him, but personally I find that type of logic a little nutbaggerous, because it's kind of nonsensical if you really, really think about it for a minute. I'm not talking like, oh yeah, it makes sense, like you think about it for a second, like, well, it is going to happen someday. Well, it is, but at the same time, the guns you're saying that you have, the powder in those bullets, not going to last forever. Sorry, so unless you have your own ammonia factory, which, if you do, I'm stealing your anhydrous ammonia. I just want you to know that right now. Just want you to know that. Just saying. Just throwing that out there for you. Because if I can find a precursor to methylene dioxymethamphetamine, you better not have any anhydrous ammonia on you, because I will steal the shit out of it. Sorry, that was too much. And when I say that, I meant a precursor, as in a precursor similar to pseudoephedrine, one that you'd buy at a store, not like an allobenzene or phenylacetone. An allobenzene is a precursor to a phenylacetone. A phenylacetone is a precursor to your final product, basically. You react that with something and you get your final product. You get through reductive amination. You get your final product. I wouldn't ever think you'd be able to oxidize it, because I read a Shulgin article recently. Sorry about that garbling of words that I just did. For those of you who don't know, Alexander Shulgin is the man who pioneered phenethylamine and tryptamine chemistry in the psychoactive field and psychoactive areas of organic chemistry. He's the one who rediscovered MDMA, MDA, MDEA, TMA. He discovered, I should say, TMA2, the psychoactive similar to mescaline. He discovered many, many, many ways to make amphetamine class molecules, basically. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, nutbag logic. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to that now. Nutbag logic behind survivalism. I'll probably post another video on that, because it's gonna take me 15 minutes, because it's gonna be a rant. So actually, guess what? Another video today, because I still got like 20 minutes to do a video before I care. So, that's all for my video on the Leuckart-Wallach reaction. Once again, if you find any discrepancies in what I said, please send them to me, because I'm a lifelong learner. I'd love to learn more about what I did wrong. I really would. This is not sarcasm at all. I know it sounds like it. I really do. I have that bad habit of when I don't want it to sound like sarcasm, it sounds like fucking sarcasm. So once again, any knowledge on any of these things that I seem to have left out, I'd love for you to send me a video or a comment or a message. Explain to me what I got wrong, so I can delete this one and update it without all the rambling about gun nuts and whatnot. But for now, for the next 5 minutes or so, howdy, or whatever the fuck Texans say to goodbye with. I'm pretty sure they just say goodbye. Who knows? Goodbye.